Redistricting in the state of Arizona is a massively important process. In years like this one, after which we have seen a significant increase in population within the last 10 years, and are anticipating the creation of another state congressional district, the process of redistricting has the potential to change our state's political climate drastically. We have prepared the following 15-minute presentation in order to explain this important process and show you how Arizona citizens can participate now in order to make an important positive impact in their community. So, what is redistricting? Redistricting is a process in which states take into account the decennial U.S. Census, which measures the number, age, and gender of a state's citizens, in order to determine the proper political boundaries for that state. Each state draws out maps with these new boundaries, and sometimes this process can reorganize the political orientation of these districts, changing a Republican district into a Democratic one, or vice versa. This is relevant because the political leaning of such districts often determines the party affiliation and therefore priorities of the elected representatives that come from these districts. While most states rely on incumbent officials for the redistricting process, often resulting in districts that benefit the party of those officials, the state of Arizona relies on a different group of people. In the year 2000, Arizona voters passed Proposition 106, which created an independent commission consisting of 2 Democrat, 2 Republican, and 1 independent commissioner. As per Prop 106, these individuals have been selected from their communities and are non-career politicians in order to try and keep politics out of redistricting. Our current commissioners are Democrats Jose Herrera and Linda McNulty, who were selected from applicants from 9 different districts, Republicans Scott Freeman and Richard Sturtz, who are selected from applicants from only 3 different districts, and independent Colleen Mathis. These 5 have the responsibility of redrawing the district lines based not only on the 2010 decennial census, but also on 6 other important criteria. The first of these is that new districts must comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act. The states on the map that are highlighted in blue are those that have historically created districts that unfairly disadvantage specific groups of people and are required to comply with this act. States like Arizona, Alaska, Texas, and Louisiana must submit their redistricting maps to the federal government for approval before being able to put them into practice. The second criterion that the Commission needs to meet when redistricting is that each district contain approximately the same population. Our current state population is 6,392,017, which is then divided in 2 ways. One for our congressional districts, which are used to elect congressmen to the House of Representatives in Washington, and the other for our own state legislature. This next election cycle, we will be gaining 1 congressional district, giving 9 districts with approximately 710,000 citizens each, and getting larger legislative districts at 213,067 citizens each. The third criterion is that districts must be compact and contiguous. This means essentially that they be packed together and in a reasonably geometric shape. An example of this is the image on the left, which was an actual district in Pennsylvania in 1992. A non-compact district can be seen on the right, which represents the same Pennsylvania district in 2002, apparently constructed to keep the eliminated middle section from voting in that district. Keeping districts compact and contiguous helps to make sure that people aren't fairly excluded from voting in those districts. The fourth criterion that the Arizona Independent Commission must follow is a fairly straightforward one, that district lines should follow geographic features. In this sense, these districts won't be cut by large mountains or canyons. Oftentimes, districts also include full cities or major parts of larger cities, like Phoenix, which can be seen lit up in a satellite image in the bottommost picture. The fifth criterion is that districts must respect communities of interest, a phrase which appears in our state constitution, but is given no explanation. In 2001, it was argued that communities of interest include anything from a small historic neighborhood in Phoenix to an area as large as the Navajo Nation in the northeastern part of our state, leaving a whole gamut of places in between. The sixth criteria, then, is competitiveness, which is defined as districts that are drawn so that the composition of them do not favor either Republicans or Democrats. It is argued that competitiveness works out better for constituents, as candidates in competitive districts must talk to both sides in order to gain their favor. In addition to the 6 criteria, there are also 3 often mentioned strategic concepts that the Arizona Independent Commission may consider while designing their districts in the not-so-far future. By the end of the 2011 redistricting process, the Commission will release their first map, so it is important to understand the other 3 criteria that will likely come into play. The first of these is majority-minority districts. According to the Voting Rights Act, majority-minority districts, or districts that are comprised mostly of ethnic minorities, have to be able to elect their candidates of choice. Second is competitiveness. Recent estimates suggest that only 3 to 5 out of our 30 legislative districts are competitive, which again means that approximately 16% are drawn so that they do not favor either Republicans or Democrats. Third comes the preservation of communities, be they political or ethnic, which some argue can be maintained in 2 different ways. The first is called packing, which preserves a community so that its interests have no chance to lose in an election. The second, pictured to the right, is called cracking, which breaks a community into adjacent districts, with the idea that that community will be able to elect more candidates of that community if more spread out. It's important to realize that Arizona voters have the ability to change Arizona through the citizen-driven redistricting process and participate in order to make an important positive impact on their community. All of our Redistricting Commission meetings are open to the public, both online and in person, and rely on your input. Just visit www.azredistricting.org or visit the link below this video. It is vital that you participate in these meetings in order to help your community's voice be heard. If you are a taxpayer, have a child in school, care about your community and how it is represented, or are just a regular old Arizona citizen, it is vital that you let the Commission hear your voice. To learn more about the redistricting process, please call 602-298-4200. Again, that is 602-298-4200. And remember, your voice can make a difference.